Growing up being a tech guy, now that's a wild one. I'm sure many of y'all can relate to this. Basically, being the tech guy meant always assisting anyone with anything tech related. It doesn't matter if it was a printer that was malfunctioning, connecting the teacher's laptop to the monitor, or helping them setting up a presentation. I don't know how I earned the status of being the tech guy in class. I'd say I didn't look too nerdy, like I didn't have no glasses, I wasn't rapping no gamer shirts or anything. Back then, you wouldn't catch me dead in one of those I paused my game to be here type of shirts. Now don't get me wrong, I was a hardcore swamp ass dent in the hair looking as gamer back then. Now that I think about it, I get why everyone assumed I was good with tech. But that's the thing I don't get. Just because I knew how to install Minecraft back in 2014 doesn't mean I also know how to fix your damn printer. I was never really that good with tech anyways, I was just good at googling problems. And that's the easiest part, everybody should be able to do this. The most common and simultaneously easiest tech problem people face is switching to HDMI 1. That shit is so easy, I always wonder how people struggle to do this. I distinctly remember one time in class where the teacher up front was struggling to get her presentation to work. She was fiddling around with the remote, changing the volume around like that would fix it. And in an act of desperation, she turned around to the class and asked if someone knew how to get her laptop screen onto the TV. Of course, no one really wanted to help her at first, because when she was struggling with tech, she wasn't teaching us shit. The only thing she taught us in that moment was how to make a damn fool out of yourself. But after a while, someone was like, Meg is pretty good with tech. Go help her! And like I was an NPC waiting for a side quest, I got up, walked my ass to the front of the class and switched to HDMI 1. This was like 3 inputs into the remote. Right as I headed back to my desk, she stopped me and asked for a tutorial on how to do that. Back then I hated being the center of attention. And I still kinda do to this day. But back then my confidence was atrocious. From that point onward, I was the tech kid, especially for this teacher. She once had me write down the whole ass lecture in real time on the laptop for everybody else to see and write down their notes. And I complied. I don't know how I let that shit fly back then, but I also was the kind of guy to look up tutorials on how to walk confidently. So there's that. Sometimes the teacher would even use the wrong remote entirely. Their TV was a Samsung and they were using a Sony remote, which turned on a boombox in the back of the classroom. The thing that caught me off guard the most was the one time someone had problems with their computer mouse and couldn't figure it out. So they asked me to help them. When I got over there to check it out, they handed me the most yellowed mouse I've ever seen in my whole life. This mouse was probably older than me at that point. It gave me strong stale bread vibes. It even had the old Microsoft logo on it, and the worst part was yet to come. I wanted to connect the mouse to the computer. That's when I found out this mouse was probably used to write the Declaration of Independence. It had the most obscure, prehistoric looking ass connection to it. I don't know which tomb they had to raid to get this artifact, but it felt like it belonged in a museum. And there I was, dumbfounded at the sight of it. But my favorite tech problem I faced back then, and even to this day, are the ones that are solvable by just pulling the plug and putting it back in. This one is most common with routers and stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I wasn't pulling no plugs on the school's Wi-Fi router back then, but I always managed to get into every school's Wi-Fi I've been to. Crazy if you think about it, other people were pulling bitches back then. And I felt like Neo from The Matrix after tricking a poor old underpaid lady into leaving her laptop unattended for a few minutes just to snatch the teacher's Wi-Fi password. Wanna know another video to watch? I got you.